What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Wolfcryer here, and this might be the absolute fastest build I've ever run in Diablo 3. A lot of times, Diablo 3 content creators will showcase a speed run using a Greater Rift 75 as a basis, and that is pretty equivalent to a Torment 16 run, but when using those as your base, you are not actually taking into account picking up DBs, you are not taking into account fighting off goblin packs, you're not taking into account the turn-in and the identifying of items and salvaging of items. This above, ladies and gentlemen, is a 12-minute straight clip of me running Nephilim Rifts with this build. And it, like I said, is absolutely crazy fast. We are once again using the Patterns of Justice set. We're actually wearing all 6 pieces though, ladies and gentlemen. We got the gloves, shoulders, helm, chest, boots, and pants. And with this set, the 2-piece set gives you all the runes for your Sweeping Wind and increases your movement speed by 5% for each stack of Sweeping Wind that you have, which is going to increase our movement speed significantly. You also get some damage reduction while you are channeling your Tempest Rush skill and increased spirit regen, so you never really have to worry about losing spirit. And the 6-piece set bonus, as long as you are hitting something with Tempest Rush, it increases the damage of all of your abilities by 15,000%. And we are combining this with the new Wan Kim Lao, which is going to allow our Tempest Rush to activate Cyclone Strike and increase the damage of our Tempest Rush by up to 600%, along with the Vengeful Wind, which is also going to increase our Sweeping Wind stack count by 10, which is going to give us 13 stacks of Sweeping Wind, which, like I said, with the Sweeping Wind bonus to movement speed, that's going to give us a lot of movement speed right off the bat. And we're actually going to make this even faster as we build upon this. But next up, I'm using Caesar's Memento. Enemies take up to 800% additional damage whenever you blind, freeze, or stun them, which is going to be happening a lot since we are running Cyclone Strike, Ball of Wind, and that's going to be doing all of that and giving us the bonus to our Caesars pretty much all the time. We're almost one-shotting everything in the Rift anyways, so we never have to worry about adding a blind to this build or anything like that. Then I'm using the Flavor of Time amulet, which is going to extend the duration of all pylons. You can use Squirt's necklace, but I do find that every now and then that falls off that damage bonus. So Flavor of Time, in my opinion, just seems much better. You can actually use any amulet in the game though, and this build will still function properly. Then I'm using Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, which is going to reduce the cooldown of one of your skills every time you hit with a resource spending attack, and you're going to be doing that non-stop because you are always going to be channeling Tempest Rush. It's going to make your Dashing Strike come off cooldown faster, it's going to make your Epiphany come off cooldown faster, and you're just going to be able to fly through the rifts. Then I am using a Unity, ladies and gentlemen. You need to make sure you're wearing one. Your follower wears one, and he also wears that relic that allows him not to die in order to get the full use out of a Unity. This is going to give you a 50% damage reduction, and I'm using Unity because I'm actually cubing Nemesis Bracers so that I can spawn additional elites every time I touch a pylon or a shrine, and that's going to help me move these rifts along even faster. So that's why I want Unity, is for that damage reduction, just to make sure I don't get wrecked in these rifts. I'm not really having any problems whatsoever, but you might as well throw it on there for that damage mitigation, especially if you're lower Paragon. This is still going to be able to do a ton of work with lower Paragon. None of my gear is augmented. Very few pieces. I mean, both my weapons are ancient, but very few other pieces are ancient besides my Unity, my weapons, and my gold wrap, which is another piece that I'm wearing. I am wearing gold wrap also for the damage mitigation. This probably nullifies the need for Unity, but I don't really have another useful ring at the moment. I guess you could run Stone of Jordan instead, but you're killing stuff way too fast to absolutely need a convention of elements or anything like that. So that's why I wear the Unity. But the gold wrap is going to give me 5 armor for every piece of gold that I pick up, and I'm going to be picking up gold massively. There's going to be tons of gold on the screen. If you've not completed the Avarice Conquest, this is an amazing build to do so. In the cube, we are using Balance, which is going to increase our Tempest Rush damage by 600% and allow our Tempest Rush to have a 100% critical hit chance every time that it hits 3 or fewer enemies. This is a pretty big damage bonus for Tempest Rush. We're also running Nemesis Bracers, like I said. This is going to allow you to spawn elite packs every time you touch a pylon or a shrine, giving you even more Death's Breaths and progressing the rift faster. And then we are using Avarice Band, which is going to increase our pickup radius every time we pick up gold. And like I said, we are going to be picking up gold non-stop with this build, especially since we are using the Boon of the Hoarder gem, which is going to allow enemies to explode with gold pretty much every time you kill them, especially if you get this up to rank 50. This is going to make them constantly drop gold, but even as a rank 30, this is doing just fine for me. Also, when you reach rank 25 with this gem, it's going to give you a 30% increased movement speed for 2 seconds every time you pick up gold. And once again, you're going to be picking up gold non-stop. So this is going to give you another 30% increased movement speed, which is pretty epic. It goes along with everything else with this build. The next gem we're using is Teguk, which is going to increase our damage as we're channeling. It's also going to give us 10% increased armor if this is a level 25 or higher gem. And then we are using Bane of the Trapped, which is going to increase our damage quite substantially, so a very good gem to have with this build. Now for your skills, I'm using Epiphany Desert Shroud. That's going to give you another 50% damage reduction. Then I'm using Sweeping Wind. It does not matter which rune you choose because it gives you every single rune as long as you have the full 6-piece set bonus for your Patterns of Justice set. Then I'm using Dashing Strike, Way of the Falling Star, which is going to give us 20% additional movement speed for 4 seconds every time we use Dashing Strike. And we're going to be using that quite a bit because we do not have to worry about the Flurry rune on our Tempest Rush, which we'll get to in just a second. But the next skill we're using is Mantra of Conviction Annihilation, which is going to give us 30% more movement speed as long as you are killing stuff. And you're going to be moving so fast during these rifts that you're going to pretty much have this 100% of the time once you get going. Then on our bar, we're keeping Cyclone Strike, Wall of Wind. This is going to trigger our Caesar's Memento Bracers, which is going to let us deal additional damage with our Tempest Rush. We do not have to actively cast this. It's going to be cast automatically whenever we are using Tempest Rush thanks to the Wan Kim Lao, and it's going to allow us to kill stuff very fast. And then we're going to finish up our skills with Tempest Rush Electric Field. This is going to be dealing lightning damage to all enemies. Special thanks to Liberty or Death. If you're watching this video, thank you for that tip because this made this build the fastest that it could be. Definitely go with the Lightning rune. You do not have to worry about Flurry. You've got enough movement speed where you do not need Tailwind. If you want to throw Tailwind on just for giggles, feel free to do so, but you do not need it. And it's easily capable of killing everything in a Torment 16 Nephilim Rift. You don't really have to worry about that. You're not taking much damage because of your Gold Wrap and Boon of the Hoarder and Avarice Band. So you're pretty stable when it comes to damage mitigation, and you're able to put out all the damage you need in order to progress these rifts really, really fast. Get your Death's Breaths, get your keys, and get on and get moving in the game, gearing yourself up in Season 19. I am absolutely loving this build. I am so glad that I started Monk and not Barb. I will be going Barb at some point because Whirlwind is a very fun and awesome build. But I am so glad that I started Monk this season because this build is absolutely crazy. If you want to use this same setup for greater rifts, You can easily do so by changing the Avarice Band in your cube to a Ring of Royal Grandeur, throwing on the belt and boots for the Crimson set, which is going to increase your damage and damage reduction based off of your cooldown and your spirit cost reduction, and changing out that Boon of the Hoarder for a Wreath of Lightning that is still going to accomplish the same thing. You are going to be just as fast. I am personally running Greater Rift 85s under 2 minutes right now, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute beast of a build when it comes to speed farming. I am absolutely loving the new Patterns of Justice set. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. I always greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know down in that comment section down below what you think of this build guide, what you're running in Season 19, and how you are liking Season 19 so far, because I love hearing from you, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, thank you so very much for all the support, and you all have a fantastic day. Peace.